Welcome back. Today we're tackling a mindset that silently sabotages so many high achievers, the all or nothing approach. If you've felt like you have to go all in to make progress, training harder, dieting stricter, and doing everything perfectly, perfectionism, again, silent killer when it comes to progress, only to kind of burn out, crash, and start all over again, this episode is for you. In today's episode, I want to break down why this mindset is stealing your results, damaging your confidence, and keeping you stuck in the same cycle. I'll also share how learning to embrace balance, something I used to resist big time, was the key that changed everything for me, my results, confidence, and life, and how it's helped many of my clients finally see real, most importantly, lasting progress. So let's dive in. So high achievers, we always want to do more. And a lot of the time, this can leave you being very extreme, right? Let's say you start a new diet in January, or you come back from your Christmas vacation, whatever it might be, and you decide, right, okay, I'm going to get in shape. And you then go very extreme, right? You go from maybe being a bit relaxed when you're on vacation, whether it's Christmas or summer vacation, whatever it might be. You come back, you're right, okay, I'm going to put my foot on the gas and I'm going to go all in with this. So what do? You start tracking every single gram and calorie on MyFitnessPal, and you subscribe to a meal plan, and you basically go all in with nutrition. Maybe you cut out a lot of your favorite foods and you stick just to chicken and broccoli and rice and things you feel are going to give you results. Same if you're training, right? Maybe you set yourself the target, right, I'm going to train 5-6 days a week. I'm going to start doing cardio 3-4 days a week. I'm going to set my steps this high, and you go extreme, right? And where that leaves you, right, is yes, you see results. Okay, week 6, week 7, week 8, you start to see great progress. Awesome, you start to get pretty lean. And then something happens in your life, whether it's stress from work, whether it's the fact that you have to maybe travel, or something's happened in your personal life, whatever it might be, or you just feel a bit up to here and you feel a bit strangled by your restrictive approach. And then you press the F it button, right? And you pretty much go way off track. You go on vacation, you start indulging in all-you-can-eat buffets. Maybe you are on a family holiday and you just start indulging, and you basically go completely the other way. Then that leaves you in the cycle of getting results, and then you immediately kind of lose them, right? And that all or nothing kind of, right, perfectionist, when I'm on track, it's the very thing that long term will actually pull you away from being able to sustain your results. How do I know this? Because I've been there, right? Back when I was 20 and I was just getting into my fitness journey, I was restricting, and I ended up developing a bit of a binge eating disorder, right? I was so restrictive that when it came to Christmas, I remember one time I literally ate the entire family-sized box of Quality Street, right? That is not normal behavior. And the reason I'm so big on helping my clients come away from that now is because of what I've experienced. And the biggest thing that I've learned on my journey, being someone who's very driven, coaching my clients who are very, very, very driven, is that extremes are easy. The balance in the middle is the hardest part. But the thing is, the balance in the middle is the very thing that is going to keep you in shape long term. So what does that look like? This is something I've worked hard on, and it's hard, and it requires changing your mindset and your identity and unraveling a lot of limiting beliefs and old programming from when you're a kid, 100%. And what that looks like for me and how I coach my clients today is using something like, say, a 90-10% rule, right? There's many principles that go into this, but you're on it 90% of the time. You eat clean, you eat structured, you know how many calories you're on, and you have targets around that. But 10% of the time you go to a wedding or a birthday, and you allow yourself a small dessert. Maybe you share a few spoons with your partner and you put it down and you move on. Right? As opposed to being so restricted at that point that you go to a wedding and you demolish the whole buffet, right? That's the difference. If you do that and you go in and you tend to kind of binge, that is the very thing that will mess up your progress. It will also mess up your gut, and it just keeps you held back. So it's being willing to and being able to and getting to that point where when you do indulge a little bit in not so clean foods, you're able to have a small little bit, a tiny little bit of portion, and you put it down and you move on the next day, and you don't let it impact you. You do not let that throw you off mentally, and you don't tell yourself that you've ruined the week. You simply think about the relentless consistency over perfectly following a plan, and you move on. So it's not letting one small thing away from your plan derail your progress, and indulging in moderation. And then it's also making sure that your daily approach to eating, to training, training, say 4 times a week rather than 6, 7 days a week with your nutrition is incorporating foods that you absolutely love, right? I remember when I was literally eating egg whites and spinach and chicken and broccoli, and that's all I literally ate, right? So of course, when you're dying of hunger and things are in front of you, you can demolish the whole thing, right? So this is how I coach my clients today. It's so important to be able to enjoy every single meal that you have. Incorporate food that you like. If you enjoy bread, eat bread. If you enjoy chocolate, have dark chocolate. If you love peanut butter, include it every single day, right? There's no right or wrong foods, and it's not black and white, and either is your plan, right? And again, this is what I teach my clients is, especially when you travel, you're out of routine. It's following principles around your nutrition. Not, right, okay, these are my only foods and my only meals in the day. That's all I can follow. Anything outside of that is off plan. That will really impact your relationship with food. And if you want to keep a positive relationship with food and have a more balanced approach to nutrition and keep you alive, it's super important to be able to, have a little bit of food here and there that you enjoy, not let it derail you. But you've still got that structure in your day, and you're still basically incorporating foods that you enjoy and that you love, so you don't feel restricted. And a big reason why I think having that balance and not being in the extreme of being completely restrictive or being way off track is difficult for us high achievers is because the word balance for us is maybe something that's been drilled into you since you were a kid, right? Maybe your parents told you, be more balanced because you've always been extreme in everything you put your mind to. That's what happens when you're a high achiever, right? And I used to be the same. The word balance used to trigger me, right? My parents, my mum was always telling me, you need more balance, take time off work, be more balanced with your food. And sure, they were only trying to help, absolutely. But for me, I always wanted to be the one who was striving for more. I wanted to be the one who was one step ahead of everyone else. I wanted to be the one who was making more progress than anyone else, right? So the thought of balance can actually be quite triggering, right? But when you let go of that and you realize that thought process and that perfectionism and that all or nothing, sure, it got you places in your life, but you get to a point where you realize it no longer serves you. And again, when it comes to actually sustaining a lean physique year round, it actually holds you back. So more of the story is based on my journey, the all or nothing mentality. It's not a bad thing to kind of have, but breaking free from that and being in that balance in between where you're able to have a holiday. Let's say, for example, you eat clean mostly, but you enjoy dessert here and there, and you come back and you're in shape, right? It not only allows you to maintain your results, but it also massively improves your self-esteem, because nothing will knock your self-esteem and your self-belief more than getting results and losing them, Over time, that starts to chip away at your self-esteem and your belief in yourself. And then you can go down the road of starting convincing yourself that you've got metabolism problems or whatever it might be. And the reality is, it's just the fact that you haven't stayed consistent long enough to be able to actually get results. So finding that balance in between, which is very much a mindset shift and a change in your approach, is the thing that will keep you in shape into your 50s and into your 60s. Think long term. Think about that bigger picture. Zoom out from the current moment. Don't always think about how you want to look in 4, 6, 7, 8 weeks' time for your holiday. Sure, set short-term targets, but can you sustain that 6 months, a year, 2, 3, 4, 10 years from now? If the answer is no, reconsider your approach, because it's relentless consistency over following a plan perfectly every time. Thanks for watching or listening to Made for More. If today's episode hit home, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who can relate and might be in the same shoes and needs to hear this. And if you're ready to take things to the next level, check the description below to book in a call and connect with me further. Catch you in the next episode.